Eunice Mary Kennedy was born in Brookline, Massachusetts on July 10, 1921. She was the fifth of 9 children of Joseph P. and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy. She believed in justice, but in the late 1950s and early 1960s, she saw little justice in the way people with intellectual disabilities were treated. They were often excluded and routinely placed in custodial institutions. They were often ignored and neglected, yet she knew they had many talents and gifts to offer. Eunice had a sister named Rosemary who had an intellectual disability. She and Rosemary grew up playing sports together and with the family. The sisters swam, they sailed, they skied, they even played football together with their brothers. But in those days, there were limited programs and options for someone like Rosemary. She believed that if people with intellectual disabilities were given the same opportunities and same experiences as everyone else, they could accomplish far more than anyone ever thought possible. In 1953, Eunice married Robert Sargent Shriver, and in 1957, she took over the direction of the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. Foundation. This foundation was established in 1946 as a memorial to Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., the family's eldest son, who was killed in World War II. She put that vision into action in 1962 by inviting young people with intellectual disabilities to a summer day camp which she hosted in her own backyard. She called it Camp Shriver. The goal was to explore the children's skills in a variety of sports and physical activities. What was then known as Shriver Camp welcomed dozens of young people from local institutions and agencies. Campers ranged in age from about 6 to 16. Volunteer counselors were recruited from local high schools and colleges with the goal of having a 1-to-1 instructional ratio with campers. Experts in the field were on hand to work with the campers and help train the counselors. The idea behind that first Camp Shriver began to grow. In July of 1968, the first International Special Olympics Games were held in Chicago. In her remarks at the opening ceremony, Eunice said the inaugural Special Olympics prove a very fundamental fact, that children with intellectual disabilities can be exceptional athletes, and that through sports they can realize their potential for growth. Over 200 events were offered. What began as one woman's vision evolved into Special Olympics International, a global movement that today serves more than 6 million people with intellectual disabilities in 200 countries. Recognized throughout the world for her efforts on behalf of persons with intellectual disabilities, she also received many honors and awards. These include the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor awarded to civilians in the U.S., and honorary degrees from Yale and Princeton, among others. Eunice Kennedy Shriver passed away in August of 2009. Today, her family continues on with Special Olympics.